And we are back. Yes, the final week of April. I'm Debbie Lynn Elias. You're listening to Behind the Lens. My partner in cinematic cohort crime.
That's a triple C's, right?
Isn't that? Yes. The
Culver City.
Fine.
Some more words.
You know me in alliteration. You know me in alliteration. Greg Srisavasdi is here.
Thank you.
In the nick of time.
Yes,
Traffic out there today is a nightmare.
6:05.
So if you're all sitting in your cars listening to internet radio right now, just sit back and relax and we'll entertain you for an hour. And then I'm so thrilled to have our very first physical in-studio guest, ta-da, my friend Renee Scotti Dalo, who is also known as Moxie Bright and Moxie Bright Events. And she's going to help talk about what all you May, June, July, August, September brides see on the big screen and then think you're going to get it in real life.
Can we do just a quick mini clap just because of having a guest here?
Yes.
We're very lonely, by the way, each week. So we're just...
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
It's a lovely studio. You should have more people here.
Shh.
Oh,
no. No, I mean, it's lovely to have people here, especially since the lovely Lydia is doing a 2-camera setup here as people that watch us on the video podcast subsequently and during the week.
Yes.
And it makes everybody look nice except
She's very
me.
good.
Except me, because there's no helping me.
No.
But in addition to Renee, we've got a fun show today in the second half hour. Ladies, Castle fans, we've got Jon Huertas calling in
Can
live.
I clap for him?
Yes,
Yes,
Renee.
you can clap, yeah.
I'm a big Castle fan.
I am the opposite. I have yet to watch one episode of Castle. I'm on the moat.
You got to do it. You got to jump in.
Yes.
They're really good.
Okay, good. So she's got it.
I am.
Yeah, a little bit shocked. I apologize.
Words fail me at this moment.
And I love mystery books too, so it should be right up my alley.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
You're missing out.
Yeah, especially I even have the Castle books.
Oh, okay.
They're actual books?
They're actual books.
No way.
All the Heat Wave, Derek Storm books. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's what I want for my birthday.
Nice.
They actually, yes, we have all of these great. Yeah, there are Castle books.
I didn't know.
And ironically, that's a lovely segue because theater producer David Galligan, who is helming for the 31st year S.T.A.G.E LA on May 9th, and we've been hearing from all his talented performers who will be there: Carol Cook, Sally Kellerman, Jake Simpson, Robert Morse, Nancy Dussault, Mary Jo. The list is endless. David's going to be calling in to talk about that, but they have a silent auction. Last year at the silent auction, they had an entire Castle gift basket. Okay, you know who bid enough to get the Castle gift basket.
That's how you have the books. Or can anyone get them?
You can buy them. You can go on Amazon. You can go into Barnes & Noble. You certainly can.
That is so on. That is happening.
See? Look at that. This is what we do here. We promote, we market, we merchandise. So anybody that wants to throw us advertising, we take anything.
By the way, I listened to BTL, Behind the Lens, last week on the way over with the car accident. Great Jake Simpson songs promoting S.T.A.G.E LA. I loved it.
His Mo Betta.
Yeah.
He wrote and performed that.
It's really good. And you did have a really amusing laundry segment with him for about 10 minutes. So Behind the Lens fans, please listen to last week's episode. It's a really good conversation. I wouldn't know because I never do my laundry, so you guys must hold your nose. But that was a great interview. Great interview with Jake last week, by the way.
Well, thank you. And Jake is off doing his own laundry in Palm Springs this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll be back in town. He's been performing at a couple clubs in Palm Springs, by the way. But he will be performing live on stage at the Saban on May 9th. Cool. So, but we will have David Galligan calling in to talk about that and the breaking news on stage that just came out this weekend. They're doing a cavalcade of costuming of original Broadway costumes.
Oh, wow.
During the performance at Stage. Yes, Renee needs a ticket, I think.
I have a wedding in Santa Barbara that weekend.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah. Because they're doing a costume cavalcade. Mrs. Brady herself has now joined the cast of
Nice.
Stage.
She's lovely. Have you ever met her?
Yes.
She is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
She is just
very
she is
lovely.
everything that Carol Brady is.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
She's everything you want her to be when you meet her. You think, oh, this is not disappointing at all.
Yep.
Which is great.
And she's going to be doing a tribute to the Broadway choreographer Dan Mojica, who just passed away.
Yeah.
So that's a nice addition. Greg Louganis is now going to be participating in the costuming.
Very
He
nice.
and his husband and a few other television personalities.
That's amazing.
And Leah Thompson
Wow.
has
Also great.
she just joined the cast as of Monday, I think. Who knows? She may be showing off some of her Dancing with the Stars skills, which Florence could also do.
Yes.
By the way, you will be sitting on the second row.
Yes, I will.
I know that because I actually creeped on that, listened to the whole thing last week. So I know your seating arrangement. That's the spitter's row, like Jake said.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Lydia and Doug and I will be sitting in the second row, dead center.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're really singing, though, if they spit on you.
Yes.
That's how
Well-
you know it's live.
Now, enlighten Greg, because Renee
Yes.
comes out of theater.
Yes.
I come from the musical theater, yes.
Okay,
it's
so
true.
that's a good row, the spitter's row.
You have to. I mean,
Okay.
it's an authentic experience.
Okay, good.
Now you know why I paid $800 for a ticket to the Paul McCartney concert.
Ooh,
Were you in the? So you were in the spitter's
Well,
row?
I was in row 7.
Oh, row 7, close to that.
that's close.
Okay.
I mean,
It's Dodger Stadium.
oh, okay. Then yes, that's
Oh, wow.
that's extremely close.
It would be the Spitters row in the Saban.
Are you a huge McCartney fan?
Oh, yeah.
Just him or all the Beatles?
All but especially him. So that was, Yes, and I got a lot of flack from some press people because how come you had really good seats and we were up in the nosebleed section? Because I ponied up the
Because you
bucks.
paid for it.
Quick question. What is your favorite part of Stage LA as far as the whole event when you're watching it?
It is, and I think Jake touched on this last week, seeing all of these legends, because as you know, and as you know, Renee, I mean, a lot of these people like Carol Cook, they're in their 90s.
Mm.
Number one, the
Right.
fact that they are still performing
Right.
and touring at this stage of the game is in and of itself an inspiration and just absolutely fabulous. But to be entertained by all these people on the same stage, you may go to, for Sally Kellerman, you may go to, Dave Cause, Spaghettini and Dave Cause's Lounge to hear her one night. But you aren't going to hear Nancy Dussault, Sally Kellerman, Jake Simpson,
Right.
Carol Cook, Patricia Morrison, who's 101 years old. You're not going to hear all of them on the same stage.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a real treat to start off the show. David Galligan is on the line. Hello, Mr. Galligan.
Hey there, Debbie. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm up to my ears in show, but I'm good.
Oh, this is I know you are, and I am so thrilled you're taking time out to give us a call. Greg's
No, I
here.
wanted to meet you because everybody who you talk to, I mean, I'm not buttering you up, but they all rave about you.
Oh, well,
that's
thank you.
sweet.
That's sweet.
It's such a joy to talk to, each and every one of them. Some of them, like Bobby Morse, our paths have crossed through TCM and over the years. Jimmy Darren first met me when I was 3 or 4 years old on the set of American Bandstand.
Oh, wow.
And then we actually worked together years later on Hooker. So
What did you do on American Bandstand?
I did nothing. I sat there looking very cute because my dad was a cameraman.
Oh, I see. I used to date a girl on American Bandstand, Pat Molitari. I don't know whatever happened to her.
Oh, my God. Well, so many of them. They do have the Bandstand reunion platforms on Facebook. Not like you have time to go searching.
Oh, I'm not crazy about Facebook, but I think I'd love to know what happened to her. She was
Or
a great woman.
actually, you can go into the Broadcast Pioneers, a Philadelphia website, who archive all of that stuff and have countless things. I can even get you the direct links and the member link since I am a member.
Well, that'd be nice. Thank you. I'd appreciate it.
So I am just, David, this is just such a thrilling event. Everybody involved loves you to no end. And
That's nice to hear.
everybody that I ask, it's like, what is it about David Galligan? He picks up the phone and says, hey, I'm doing this again for Stage LA to benefit AIDS Project Los Angeles. And that's all it takes. And they're in. What is your magic?
Well, I think first of all, it's a collaboration. Whereas I'm not an autonomous director that says you do it my way. I have my way, and they listen to my way. But if their way wants to meet my way, then we have a collaboration that usually works very nicely. I dissect a song, and that's a strange word. So that it's like, how would I approach a song so that it has a beginning, middle, and end. It isn't just, it has meaning. I interpret it.
You tell a story with all of your stagings. Each one tells a story.
So in other words, I say to the person, where are you coming from? Before they hit stage, there has to be an event in order to sing the song. And it's, although this the audience never knows, but it gives the song a body.
Mm-hmm.
So that, in other words, you take a song like everybody sings, like, what a day this has been, what a rare mood. It's almost like being in love. How do you feel about almost like being in love? Are you daffy about it? What's the day like because of being in love? And so on and so forth, so that you have an emotional beat behind, not behind every lyric, but some of them are 3 and 4 stanzas, that you have the same emotional beat. But you take apart the song that way and put it back together again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that's something.
Does that make any sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. Let me ask.
Okay,
let me ask.
Sure.
My special guest here, Renee Scotti Dalo. Renee comes out of musical theater, and she's a fan of yours. Renee is a fan of yours, David. She knows your work. So, is that something that, as a theater performer, that you can relate to, Renee?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. You need to treat the story like almost a monologue, treat the song like a monologue. And I think also, as a performer, for me, it was always harder to sing some of the older classic songs because they were also written to be on the radio. So a lot of it repeats. And when you repeat something, you have to repeat it in a fresh way. And so working with the director like David, who approaches it in an acting way, is always very helpful. And helpful to the audience to maybe hear it in a different way, a song that they've heard a million times.
I don't know if you agree with this, Renee, but it's some songs are presentational, and you come out and you go, "Geez, but it's good to be here." And but the next song you may be I call them mirror songs. I talk to myself in the mirror. I found that a lot of people do. So you might be doing a monologue to yourself in the mirror in this song.
Yeah.
So that you don't come out there and do windmill arms and go, "Hello, everybody, it's me." it becomes Sondheim has a lyric, "We'll build a cocoon," and I think that the cocoon you build as a performer, and the audience has to go to you rather than you're out there selling yourself for your best 16 bars for an audition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
I think you're making perfect sense here. And Renee is like, I see the smile on her face,
Just
and
lots of nodding on the side.
and she knows exactly.
It's like an actor and a song, and everybody thinks they're just singers. Well, no, they're singer actors. I mean, the acting is part of it all. Will come in and they'll sing for an audition, and I don't know who tells them this, but they hit a spot. They look at a spot right above my head. I'm at a table, or I'm in a theater seat. Well, there's nothing more. I mean, please don't look at me. Let me go to you. Let me find out what you're feeling and what you're doing, and if you do it right, then I'm all for you.
So, what keeps you going? This is your 31st year of doing stage, David. When you and Carol and the gang first began, did you ever think that you would still be doing this 31 years later? And what is it that drives you?
Well, I'm very disheartened. Here we go. All right, fine.
Go there.
Open. I'm going to talk about it.
Go there.
I'm losing an audience because I don't think that the older audiences who loves music, I find that the younger people, the younger performers, they don't even know who George and Ira Gershwin were. They haven't a clue. they don't know what I'm talking about, and frankly, it works both ways because I don't understand their music either. So it's disheartening for me to be talking to 30 dancers and trying to teach them Our Love Is Here to Stay when only one person knows who George and Ira Gershwin were, and then she said, and I quote, "I know George Gershwin, he writes the music for United Airlines, but I don't know his wife, Ira."
Oh, my God. That breaks my heart.
And you sit there and you go, it's your... Well, it isn't their job.
No, it is their job.
You need to know about the music, the Great American Songbook. You need to know about Cole Porter. And so it's disheartening to me because I feel like I've lost an audience. And, you know, it gets harder and harder to do because people say to me, well, you've got to take care of the young. I don't have to do anything because they don't respond to me. I don't respond to them as an old Ethel Merman line. So I am disheartened by that, very disheartened. What used to be a 3-night event has dwindled down to 1 night. Yes, it does sell out, but it's like it's for AIDS, and you know, and again, that even goes to that group of people that have AIDS because they don't feel, because they don't die from it, and the cocktail has us that there's an apathy there. Nobody seems concerned about it because it's no longer the disease of the month. And aren't you glad you opened this can of peas?
Hey, you know, Nancy Dussault and I opened this can of peas during our one-on-one interview. And it's very true. She said there is this great lackadaisical mentality that, I can just take a drug, so I don't need to get tested. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. But this is still very present and
of course it is
on the increase.
But if somebody's not taking care of themselves or has such disregard as to have sex, and I'm not going to go into that one, but okay, then why am I doing a benefit for them? I don't mean we are doing it. It's, again, disheartening, but yes, I do continue, and yes, we do continue, but it gets harder and harder with every year because the apathy of the audience. And I mean, we are supported by an audience, but less and less. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what will happen to, because I certainly, it's my music. It's where am I going with this?
Well, your music is the music that you choose, the music that you select. It is the voice. It's a voice of compassion. It's a voice of love. It's a voice of a time gone by that people should be embracing and cherishing. You know, my dad told me for years and years, he spent 59 years in broadcast television, and that you have to embrace the history. You have to know the history to know where you are and to know where things are going in the future. It applies to music. It applies to film. It applies to television. It applies to medicine. You know, it's that history.
I agree totally with your father.
And as Carol has said before, she said the lack of curiosity in people today is what's very disheartening.
Well, it is. When I was a kid, I mean, I was memorizing Burns Mantle plays, which was a book, the best plays of the year. I was memorizing. I had never been to the theater. Right? Now, maybe there was some sort of kismet involved, but I couldn't get enough of the past. I learned from it. I say to young actors today, watch Ted Turner classic movies. Watch them. Find out what made Ginger Rogers a great comedian. Find out what these people were about and what the charisma had and what they learned. Watch Henry Fonda. Watch Jimmy Stewart. They're great for a reason. Mm-hmm. But they don't even know who they are. Nobody knows who Garbo is. Not a clue.
Well, I have news for you. I have a huge TCM audience who listens to this show. They are cheering you right now, David.
Well, and plus, it's so entertaining to sit there with Grand Hotel or just to watch Marie Dressler do a triple take, which hardly anybody ever has done, and get away with it, in with Dinner at 8. There's so much to be learned and to celebrate because of their great artistry.
Well, David, are there still elements of directing that, even with your years of experience, you're still learning and you're still discovering at this point in your life?
Yes, I just did something with Lisa Roman at an art gallery. I guess it would be called a performance piece, but I had never worked with video. I mean, there is certainly video in stage, but it's film clips. But this was we had Lisa and I put together a show that was really basically using video, but I'd found other ways to use it. And she would be singing "Here They Come Those Beautiful," the Sondheim from Follies, which introduces the women coming down the stairs. And so I put it together with all the great nude ladies of art. So the video, as she was singing, was bringing forth all these famous paintings. So I'd never worked with video. Well, it's wild. It opened up a whole new thing to me. Or painting a Sunday in the Park with George, taking it to black and white, and then singing it, and then painting it as if it with a brush.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or doing finishing the hat and bringing forth all the hat pictures of art through the years, the Magritte, or and I'm interjecting Mona Lisa, the Nat King Cole pop art song, and bringing forth all the Mona Lisas, and then having I think it was Frankie Avalon, the Venus song, which was popular when I was a teenager, and bringing forth all the Venus de Milos and the Venus Rising, and well, it was just wild. I had a wonderful time. But yes, an answer to a long-winded answer to your question, yes, I am discovering new things.
What is the most challenging thing about bringing this stage production to life every year, David? Your themes are always just impeccable, incredible. Last year, Stage Goes to the Movies, especially when we had surprises with Shirley Jones coming out. Absolutely phenomenal. This year, you've got To Broadway from Hollywood with Love. Where do you get, what inspires these
I don't know where
ideas?
you think about things, and I was curious about, for example, because that's where it came from, was a play called Parfumerie, which was done out here at the Annenberg, which I did not see. And then it became, I forget what year it was, way back, and it went to Hollywood and became The Shop Around the Corner with Jimmy Stewart and Margaret Sullivan. And it stayed at MGM and was remade In the Good Old Summertime with Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. Now here's my point. It went to Broadway and became She Loves Me. So it was the movies, with Hollywood to Broadway with Love, was those movies, one of which was a musical, In the Good Old Summertime, but it went to Broadway and became She Loves Me with a completely different score, but the same plot. And if you really want to go into it, it went back to Hollywood and became You've Got Mail.
Yep.
So it's taking what was a film and turned into a Broadway musical, and there's so many, like Nights of Cabiria, the Fellini film for Giulietta Messina, his wife, was turned into Sweet Charity, or Ingmar Bergman's Smile of a Summer Night was turned into a little night music. I mean, there's so many, it's wild. Zorba the Greek was turned into Zorba the musical. And some of those we're celebrating.
So now I have to ask you here, loving costuming in the movies and on stage, I know that now an added addition to this wonderful extravaganza is going to be that costume cavalcade.
Yes.
Any hints as to what kind of costumes we can expect to see?
Well, I'm going to repeat one that I've done in the past, which is the Ginger Rogers Lady in the Dark costume, which people just gasp at. And Greg Shriner is promised... and I'm using them within the show, not only in the fashion show, but a singer-actress by the name of S.T.A.G.E. Gill is doing a tribute to film noir.
Ooh.
So I'm doing I'm not doing it. Greg Shriner is loaning. I think it's Lauren Bacall dress.
Oh, wow.
And then I've written something for her, which is, one of the lines is I'm a PM gal in an AM town, which kind of gives you an idea. I mean, there's so many crazy lines in those within that thing. and she's interspersing those within a song called "Again," which is an Idol Pino song from Roadhouse.
So now, a big thing that I always love is, and I know a lot of people do, is the silent auction. Now, do you go about begging and pleading people to donate? Renee's laughing at me. Renee's laughing at me as I ask this. Do you ask people for the auction, or is there a committee that does this? And
sure. No. I mean, there is a committee, but yes, with the man who does props, he's an artist, and he sells very well to celebrities. And he said, "Would you like a piece of my art for the silent auction?" I said, "Absolutely." Or I'll say for the live auction, I talked to Patricia Morrison, and I said, "We'd love one of your paintings."
Oh.
She's a wonderful artist, so yes, it's going into the live auction.
I tried to get Jake to put himself up for like lunch with somebody like Cheyenne Jackson did last year, but he
did. Jake wouldn't do it.
Well, only if he's guaranteed that the opening bid is more than what somebody paid for lunch with Cheyenne.
He wants $5.25 specifically.
I'll give him $5.25.
I have a feeling they paid more than $5.25 for Cheyenne.
I'm going to talk to Jake Simpson.
Hey, I put him on the spot on last week's show that he should offer himself up, for bid on lunch with Jake Simpson. Or
well, he should. I'm going to say something.
Yes, and because he has not done my laundry for me, I think it is incumbent upon him to do this. That Jake and I are gonna run this laundry thing forever. But I think it is.
One year I offered a chili because I make good chili. I offered chili for dinner with Carol Cook and Tom Shoup, her husband, and. Well, the bid went sky high, and then somebody matched the bid, so I ended up doing dinner chili for, I don't know, I think it was about 16 people.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
I'm not doing that anymore.
And, of course...
It was quite an evening, and they were nice enough. They said, "Oh, well, let us bring the wine," and they did. I said, "Sure."
Well, it's the least they can do. But now, it was really... Now, Carol will probably say it's because of dinner with her that so many people bid, but it really was for your chili.
I don't think so, but thanks.
So
I'll make it for you, Debbie, sometime.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you, David. Now, is there any one performance that you are really looking forward to in this year's production?
Oh, that's sort of favored nations with all of them. I mean, they're in the show for a reason. I'm looking forward to Carol and I have written a monologue about her knowing. This is Carol Cook.
Is there any other
relationship with Ethel Merman, who she called Agnes, which is Merman's real name? So we've written a monologue about visiting Merman during her last days, which ends in "Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries," which is a heartbreaker. I'm trying to think of I'm opening the show with Grand Hotel. We're showing a clip of Grand Hotel, and then going into the musical, which had a couple of lives. It was at the Grand when I was growing up for Civic Light Opera, Edwin Lesser's Civic Light Opera in San Francisco, and here. And it starred Paul Muni and Joan Diener, and then it went nowhere. It just stayed. And then it was Wright and Forrest that wrote Kismet that did the music, and then it was revived, and Murray Yeston put some of the score, and they used Wright and Forrest for some of the score, and put it up, and Tommy Tune directed it.
Oh.
So I'm recreating some of that.
Mm-hmm.
With Jason Graw and what's his name? I can't think of his name. James C. Mulligan.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, I mean that should be fascinating. I think. I'm doing
think
She
so.
Loves Me with Nancy and Lisa Vroman and Jason Graw, and with part of the book attached to it, and Lisa and Nancy are kind of alter egos in this version. So that's a beautiful score. Zorba, Donna Theodore is doing the Life Is with a clip.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of stuff. There's the fashion show, which Susan Clausen is introducing, and she does a one-person show on Edith Head.
Oh, she is Susan is fabulous.
Head, yeah. I hope I'm saying her name right.
Yes. It's how I've always
right?
said it. So if you're wrong, I'm wrong too. So,
okay.
So two wrongs do make a right in this case. In case we're wrong.
Absolutely. Another bowl of chili for Debbie, please.
So are there still tickets available? I know I have mine.
Yes, there are still tickets available. It's starting to fill up, and for a while I was a little scared, but it's starting to fill up. So yes. Buy tickets, support us. If you can't care anything about the Great American Songbook. Oh, I'm doing a tribute to James Bond as well.
Oh.
Yes, well, and I know who's participating in that one.
Who was that? Mr. Simpson.
Mr. Simpson. Yes, that should be interesting.
And Valerie Perry. Do you know who Valerie Perry is?
I do not. Do you, Renee?
I do.
Renee knows.
It's my favorite Evita. Watch me get in trouble on that. But I think she's a great Evita. And I saw her when she was 24 years old. She got her equity card by doing that. And I'd seen them all. And she's quite amazing.
Oh, wow.
Amazing talent. She's doing it. And I think Tammy Tappan.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just the lineup of people you have for anybody. Like Jake said last week, this is cheaper than going to New York to a Broadway show.
Well, he's right, unless he counts taking him to lunch.
Well, you know. Yeah, you got to get to work on him. I really think.
Well, we could fly to New York for what it would cost to take Jake Simpson to lunch.
But some lucky person out there would not have the thrill of his company and being serenaded by one of his original songs.
Oh, did he do that for you? Wow.
Of course. It's me.
He is so talented. I keep saying, just let me do an act for you with just singing the old stuff.
I wish he would, because his voice is perfect for it. With that 4-octave range he's got.
Oh, he's just so talented.
You know.
And he listens, but I don't know if he doesn't really know a lot about it, but he's willing to learn.
Mm-hmm. That's half the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, David, I can't thank you enough. Everybody needs to go to www.stagela.com for tickets. People can just donate too, can't they?
Oh, absolutely.
You do
but you should come see the show. Oh, well, Julie Garnier is wonderful in the show too, by the way.
Ooh.
You know who that is?
I do.
Sensational. What a extraordinary talent.
Well, I can't pick. I have to say my favorite though, because she'll kill me if I say anybody else, is Carol Cook. You know.
Well, you know how long I go back with her.
I know.
She's my Auntie Mame.
You know. And Carol and I are going to fight over the 6-day, 5-night Belize spa vacation, bidding on that. And whichever one of us gets it.
I pay money to see Carol in the sun.
Well, if one of us gets it, we're taking the other one. So.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
she literally goes. She wears like a hat with a veil to the floor if she goes out in the sun. Well, she wears that anyway. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
I know.
I'm going to get that for that.
No, I've been at premieres with her. I know she does not. She was always impeccably made up, hair flawlessly done, and dressed beautifully.
I'm doing her one-person show, which I direct. We're doing it Memorial Day weekend in Palm Springs at the Purple Room.
Ooh. So, and people can just Google that, go to purpleroom.com to get tickets for that?
I don't know how to do it. Purple Room, Palm Springs.
We'll figure it out. It's almost
sold out. She's doing 3 days there.
Oh, well, I'm surprised there's any tickets left since it's Carol, because everything I know...
Joanne Worley just did it this week, and it's Dick Taylor Presents, and she was completely sold out, so we're hoping.
Well,
all right, I'm going to shut up now.
No, my darling, I will see you on May 9th. And
I will be there. I'm the only person with the dog, so you can't miss me.
Well, I know. But I will see you on the 9th. In the meantime, I will keep hounding people. Buy tickets. Come see this fantastic show.
Okay, and don't forget our chili date.
I won't forget, David.
It won't cost you anything like Jake Simpson. Wow.
I just want him to do my laundry while he's drinking quad espressos. That's all. David, thank you, my love.
You're the best. You really are wonderful.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you, and I will see you in a couple weeks.
You got it. Thank you, everybody. Renee, thank you.
Oh, thank you,
Take
David.
care.
Thanks, David. Bye-bye. And that was the wonderful theatrical director and producer, David Galligan, S.T.A.G.E LA, www.stagela.com, May 9th. Get tickets. Fabulous show. Greg's sitting here, and he's bringing up some of the costuming
This
for
is the Lady in the Dark photo.
Yes,
from
and
Ginger.
I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen the
oh,
Edith head. This is
it is amazing.
Edith head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not bad.
No, not
I don't-
bad.
I can't. In person, that must be the most
It's
stunning
blinding.
thing. Blinding, yeah.
It is blinding when
In
the
a
stage
good
lights
way.
hit it. So before Jon Huertas calls in, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back with Behind the Lens. Behind the Lens is sponsored in part by the Culver City Observer. Located in the heart of Screenland, Culver City Observer is available in print and online at www.culvercityobserver.com. Okay, well, I have done something weird to my headset, but that's okay because one ear works, so I'm good.
Oh.
And Brian is laughing at me in the booth. It's okay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fix it really quickly.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll let him
okay.
fix it. We'll let him fix it because, okay, otherwise Renee is going to laugh herself silly. Okay, there, it's fixed.
I liked it the other way, by the way. Brian. Oh, okay, there you go. I deserve that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're a little bit of
saying a word.
insanity today. It kind of goes with we got freeway closures, we get accidents out there. It's just a mess. But now, before Jon Huertas calls us, let us talk to the wonderful Moxie Bright herself about movie weddings and the headaches they cause you as a wedding planner.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I get a handful of brides who get locked into an idea that they got from a wedding, and yeah, sometimes it can be challenging because regular people don't have movie studio budgets. Most of the time.
Well, especially when we look at some of the very classic movie weddings that are very iconic, as we go back to the 1950 Father of the Bride with Elizabeth Taylor, or the Philadelphia Story with that gorgeous gown by
Gorgeous.
Everything that Adrian designed for Katharine Hepburn was stunning. Then Helen Rose's stuff for Grace Kelly in High Society.
Gorgeous.
And I know people that over the years, I want that. Mm-hmm. But you don't have an Adrian or a Helen Rose at your disposal.
Right, and what's unfortunate, I think, is that a lot of the super classic styles, they're not really being mass-produced right now. Like, you can't really go to David's Bridal and get a dress that looks like Grace Kelly's dress. And that's probably for the best, because quality-wise, it probably wouldn't live up to a bride's expectation of what that would be. But I feel like if you do want one of those super classic tailored looks, you're basically going to have to get that made yourself, and then that's where we talk about price, because it's like it's almost like it's a little more expensive to get something more refined.
Mm-hmm. And of course, that's where the whole idea of refinement comes from, is the movie.
It's true.
It's the movies.
It's true.
But then we also have some unrefining movies out there too.
Well, like, Bridesmaids.
Yes.
So she ends up with that horrible
We said unrefined.
gown.
I said unrefined.
You did, and that's exactly what I thought of. But, I've also had girls say to me, that they didn't think that final dress she wore was so bad, after they take off the sleeves and sort of unpoof it a little bit. Which is funny to me because it's a comedy. It's a broad comedy. That dress was meant to be hideous. Even in its final state, it was still meant to be too much dress. So it's funny when girls are like, I think that dress is actually nice. And I just sort of bite my lips and bite my tongue and go, oh, okay, well, yeah, we'll try to find something like that.
Do you ever have to try and, irrespective of cost, of getting refinement and glamour, like an Adrian or a Helen Rose work, do you have to talk brides into something more realistic and less hideous? Or do we go for a corpse bride look? I know you and I were talking earlier. I actually knew a girl that she wanted a corpse bride theme for her wedding and ended up at Knott's Berry Farm with the red and white Italian checkered tablecloth and bowls of Italian pasta.
That story makes me sad because I feel like if you really want a corpse bride wedding, which I know is unusual, but if that's your jam, you should get that. That's what you should have. That's the kind of wedding you should have. And I don't know your friend. I don't know how her journey of planning went, but it makes me sad when people have an idea of what they want and then the execution of it doesn't live up to it. And it could just be because they don't know how to execute it.
Aha.
But to go back to the original question about the dresses, I think we're actually suffering nowadays from like too much exposure. Like when I like 10 years ago, you couldn't see Bridal Fashion Week on the internet. Now it literally happens in real time. So if you want to look at exactly what just happened on the runway 2 weeks ago, you can go look at it. And I think there's too much and it gets confusing because girls will have Pinterest boards of bridal gowns and it's literally every single style, every single color, including red. And then they show these to me and I say, well, what on this board do you like? Well, I like all of it. Okay. So and then you have to go with like, well, what looks good on you? A lot of times what you like doesn't actually look good on on our non-model bodies,
Well, talking about what we like, we're going to interrupt bridal talk for a moment. And we have the incredible Jon Huertas on the line.
What's happening?
Hey, John. How are ya?
Good. How are you?
Well, this is an absolute thrill, not only because you are one half of the best bromance on television, as Javier Esposito on Castle, but this new film of yours, Reparation, oh my God.
Did you see the movie?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
I saw it before I talked to Kyle last week about it. Talk about a performance as Jerome. John, you blew me away from the physicality to the emotional balance that you found in there between making Jerome likable but also questionable and pushing that limit. Absolutely stellar work. Stellar work.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I mean, what led you to Reparation? Because I know from what Kyle was saying, this was not, you dove into this head first, feet first, you were in it to win it. He said you really you put yourself through a lot of training so you'd be able to actually pick up and carry Mark Menchaca, in the film. But what do you have to do? What was it about this film that made you want it so badly and to go at it with such gusto?
Well, I mean, the writing was, I could read the script and tell that a ton of thought went into the writing and into the, into each character. And, if someone's going to put that much time and effort into creating, characters so complex and, it's my job and my duty to also put in as much work and time as I can to support that.
Mm-hmm. Now, something there's a pattern in a lot of the characters that we see you do. Military veterans. You yourself you were in the Air Force. How important is this to you? With the characters that you select, the characters you portray, and the authenticity that you bring to these men and women in arms?
How important is it?
Yeah.
I think it's really important. There's been tons of projects that have out there that just, they didn't, there was a misrepresentation, didn't feel or look like, what I experienced in the military, or, and I think that, as, when you make film, when you make television, you're still part of the media, and you have a responsibility to uphold the integrity of whoever you're portraying, whether it be a fictional character but if it's a character based on a real job, or a real job with importance, such as law enforcement or military, or the medical field. There's just you have to uphold that integrity, and I think that's super important. Something that I love to invest in.
Well, and having seen so many of your characters, granted, I've been watching you back to your days on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Wow.
Really. But I look at these, and the conviction that you have and the honesty that you bring to your roles, it just increases in intensity until now. I think two of your most seminal characters are Jerome in Reparation and as Javier Esposito in Castle. How do you keep amping it up? Because just when I think you can't deliver any more emotionally to the character or any more physically, you go ahead and you just blow my mind and you do it. And that's what you do as Jerome.
Thank you so much for saying that. I think that as actors, we have to always be studying, not only studying people, but studying emotion, studying how people deal with different emotional levels, different experiences. And so, you have to continue to always be a student of life, a student of the craft. And that's what I'll never stop learning. I love learning from the people that I work with, learning from people that I engage with every day, and learning, it's all about learning. And I love, I just love absorbing information. And so I think that's what helps me get to do things and make something interesting. One of the approaches that I learned a long time ago in acting is, you want every time you do a scene you want to have different peaks and valleys. And that, it's always rang true with me, and I always think about that whenever I'm doing a scene. Things have to change, things have to be different in every part of the scene. It's got to be a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Jon, along with the good writing, was there a huge advantage as far as working on Reparation? Was it also just the freedom to explore your character, just more exploration within a really interesting narrative within an independent filmmaking?
Yeah, it was really, first of all, making an independent film is always challenging. And that's part of the fun, I think, is challenging yourself and figuring out, how to overcome hurdles. And I think with an independent film, there are tons of hurdles that we have to jump over to get this thing made, from the budget that we have to work with, the logistics that we have to work with, and shooting it in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. Logistically, it was very well done by Kyle and the crew that he put together, how we finished this movie in 24 days, to, figuring out how to put in some rehearsal time for this movie so that, it did go smoother when we were shooting. So, yeah, it was, it's invigorating to go through these challenges, I think.
Well, you're facing another challenge, too, on the film Altered Perception, that you co-wrote with Jennifer Blank Bean, and you're co-starring, and you're also producing that film. So how do you juggle all the little hats, and when does the producer's hat go on as opposed to the actor's hat, as opposed to the writer's hat, and finding that balance?
Well, I think that those hats have to be worn at different times throughout the production. And yeah, you do need to know when to take off a certain hat. And I think that's, once you can recognize that, and say, okay, now I'm acting. I'm an actor of the piece, so I can't wear a producer's hat or a writer's hat because it's going to get in the way of the actual like director's job or the other characters in the film. You have to get to know your role, I think. So, yeah, I think that's it's just knowing when to step back is very important.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any idea when Altered Perception is going to hit the fest circuit or come out? Because I love Jen's work. I'm a big fan of her work.
She's really passionate about what she's doing, and what she's able to accomplish with the limited resources that she sometimes works with is amazing. But one thing about her, and I can't wait to see her get that one role that just takes it over the top, because I think she's one of the most talented actors out there. She's super, super talented, super good. So we're not sure when it's going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Jennifer, I'm leaving that in Jennifer's hands. She's working on that. Again, I had to know when to step back and let her handle things.
Mm-hmm. So now, back to Reparation here. You've got another screening coming up. How was the world premiere the other night?
It was great. The audience really responded well to the film, I think. So, we all the feedback that we got was incredible.
How could it not be? It's a great. How could it not be? It's a great film.
Well, you never know. There, haters gonna hate sometimes.
I know. I know. But when you sit down and you look at this film, every element of Reparation is so well done, Jon. Kyle dotted the I's, crossed the T's, going beyond even what you and Mark brought in your performances. And as I said, the film, I am just such a huge supporter of it and fan of it. And
thank you so much.
And particularly your performance. Now, will you be there for the next showing on, I think, the 30th?
I'm going to try Thursday night, yeah. I'm going to try to get out there for that as well.
I mean, you had to have had a lot of Castle fans there.
There were a lot of, there were a ton of Castle fans, and hopefully there'll be more on Thursday. I'm going to definitely try to get the word out, try to get people out there.
So,
and let them know I'll be there, and hopefully that'll bring them out.
Well, it darn well should. And plus, you're down in Newport Beach, and the weather's going to be beautiful, and...
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful down there.
So, is there any...
The boats and stuff.
Is there anything that you can tell us about next season for Castle, or what's up with that? The rumor mill is afoot. We know Nathan is signed, you're signed, but...
I'm actually... They haven't closed a deal with me yet.
Oh!
Just Nathan so far. He's the only one they've closed with. So we're all waiting to, get that handled, and then I think I'm waiting for them to make an official announcement that there will be another season.
Well, my big question is, Nathan and Alan Tudyk have this great web series, Con Man, going. Where are the offers to you and Seamus and everybody to come on board for that?
I don't know. I haven't got one. But funny enough, the producer that's working with Alan on that, his name's PJ Harsman. He's actually working. The both of us are working on a project together. It's very not. I wouldn't say it's similar to what Alan is doing, but it's it's the same Vimeo deal for a web series that I've developed. So, maybe we'll be bumping elbows, and we can't work on the same project, but we'll be on the same little network hopefully with our web series.
Well, that would be absolutely fabulous, and if you go fundraising route, with Indiegogo the way that Nathan and Alan did, if they can get $2.5 million or whatever, you should be able to equal that, if not double it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if we're going to do if we're going to need to do the crowdfunding. We might have a good enough budget where we don't have to do that. So I'm hoping.
Jon, I can't thank you enough. This was so kind of you to call us. I am such a huge fan of your work. Always have been. Yes, even as Brad on Sabrina. Which I mean was you were funny. You were so funny on that.
No, thank you.
So
Thank you.
to see you come from that to where you are now, it just I am enthralled. And
thank you so much.
I know Renee is sitting here with me, and she's like me. We always have Castle on
Always.
reruns in the background. I think Right at Your Door, the film you did with Mary McCormick, that I have seen that easily 50 times.
Wow.
It,
That was an interesting film. It was fun.
That's just it. It's so interesting, and every time I see it, it does something else to your mindset depending on what's going on at the world at the time that you watch it.
Right.
Jon,
Awesome.
thank you again. Have a great Thursday night. We will definitely tell everybody. Go to Newport Beach Film Festival and see Reparation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jon. We'll talk to you again.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. And that was Jon Huertas, and we have 2.5 whole minutes. So we're gonna jump back
All
into
right,
some
let's do
wedding
it.
some wedding stuff here.
All right.
Now we also have a visual aid that we're not going to show.
We can't show you.
We
'cause
can't
it's an
show, but it's something perfect for you and your because a bachelorette party, and we've seen so many of those on film, and they do play out in real life the way they play on film.
They really do, actually. That's one of the more accurate representations of the wedding process on film.
So the little book in your hand was
Yes.
done by a friend of mine. The
Can we
name.
say the name?
Yes, you can say the name.
The world famous Giggle Stick activity book for adults only by Richard Dickens.
And
Ha-ha.
his real name is Charles West McNulty. Charlie's a very dear friend of mine. And it encompasses all the fun that you had as a child, coloring things, practicing your penmanship, and all those drunk party games that bachelorettes do.
Did you see the inside?
Yes.
Edits and cover design by Virginia Vigene.
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Okay. I'll explain it to you later.
Okay.
But there's so many components. We've got the dress. We've got the bachelorette party. You've got the reception, and it's our 1 minute mark. I know.
Something's happening.
MoxieBrightEvents.com, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, it's a really
That's
beautiful
me.
site, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So,
I'm very proud of my little site.
Well, I mean, and I see the wedding pictures you post all the time for these weddings you plan. How much like Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner are you?
I am exactly like Jennifer Lopez, including the butt. I'm just kidding. No, that actually is a fairly accurate representation of my job. Not falling in love with the groom, but the actual, like, having everything on my person at all times. That's like 80% of my job.
And of course, coming out of musical theater, that teaches you to multitask. And
Oh, yes.
Anyway,
Yes. Yes. And constantly smile. Always smiling.
no matter what,
No matter what.
even if it's a Corpse Bride theme gone
Even
bad.
if it's a Corpse Bride theme. The only thing I joke with my assistant, the only time we should ever run or look sad is if the venue is actually on fire. Anything short of that, we're cool. Literally.
Well, I was hoping we would have more time, but we talked with David Galligan so long
That's
today.
okay.
You will come back.
Of course. I love it here.
Good. I'm so glad. All right. That is it for today. Brian's giving me dirty looks from the booth. That's it. Join us again next week. We've already got live people calling in next week on a bunch of other little indie films, and maybe a Courtney Cox surprise or a Jason Priestley surprise. So, tune in again next week to Behind the Lens.